Alright, I'm on.
Alright.
Clap.
Alright. 3, 2, 1. So much lag. Anyways, I was yeah. Well, I guess we're just gonna go straight into it. Fuck it.
Yeah, I guess.
And I was thinking in regards to us, like, hey, you messaged me the other day, and you're like, I feel weird doing the podcast because
Yeah.
all this fucking crazy shit that's happening right now.
Mm.
And I was like, not putting us on any level of the radio station or anything like
Yeah.
that, or whatever.
We have
whatever.
way more listeners.
Anyway, and I was just like, how weird it must be to go about your daily job and be the funny radio guy when
Yeah,
like
true.
you could like you're literally getting paid to go on radio and be funny, and you have to like not help people, but just like entertain people for their drive home and help them kind of forget about their day.
Yeah.
But inside you're like, you could be like getting like just thinking about what like the issues that are happening now
Yeah,
right
be
now
like,
in America.
shouldn't I be
Like,
using the radio to be fucking, I don't know, just spreading awareness or some shit or
Yeah, I know.
anything of the sort. But then they're like, yeah, like I haven't listened to much radio, but I get what you mean. Like
and sorry, I
Go for
cut
it.
you off. I was just saying like when you messaged me the other day about
yeah,
talking about the George Floyd stuff and the stuff that's happening in the US and how you felt a little bit weird about doing this podcast right now.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me thinking about it more, which helped me kind of be like, I can't just not say anything online or anything
yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Because
It's
like
weird.
I like, sorry, go.
No, I just found it weird because, like, I do obviously want to use our platforms to be able to speak up, but like, it's without it looking and seeming hollow. Like, I don't want people to just think that I'm posting it just because I should be. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, because it's an issue that everyone should be fucking in and about and going, what the fuck's happening? Like, let's change some
Exactly.
shit. Like,
Even if you're just saying what the fuck's happening.
yeah,
Like, because my thing was, I think similar to you, like, I didn't want to just, because I saw a bunch of people posting about it and the people who like post about it a lot, or
Yeah.
like just like social issues, like a lot more than I ever do. And I didn't want to be that guy that was just like the band guy that's just like, yeah, whatever the talk of the town is this month, this is the issue. Everyone should do something about it.
Exactly,
And
yeah,
not
just-
do anything about it.
exactly.
Like, and that's when I started thinking about it a lot. And I was just like at work today, and I was just like, I can't not say anything. Like, not that it doesn't directly affect me, but if we could have friends that are looking at us going, do they care?
Exactly, yeah.
Do they care?
And-
And I just want to be like, I do care. Like, if anyone needs anything, I do care. Like,
100%.
let me know. If you need me for anything, let me know.
With, like, obviously, like I said before, speaking your mind, but being, like I said to you before, I really wanted to touch on this, like, obviously the issues that have been going on, but being like a privileged white male who's never had to encounter any of this stuff, I'm like, my words really hold no weight. All I can do is show support but like, then it's also like just empty words, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause at the end of the day, I feel like I should be out there just like actually showing some sort of like support,
Solidarity,
in person, instead of saying just on the internet like, this
Yeah.
is fucked.
For sure. But like from what I was reading as well, like I read so many things and from different people on Instagram and from different people who it probably has affected directly as well. Like not just the current, not just the George Floyd issue that just happened, but like the whole stigma behind racism and stuff like that in America, and how they probably always got it. It's always happened to them, and it's only certain events that bring that to the forefront for other people. But I think now it's happening on such a big scale, and it's there, so now we have to react and have to say something and have to be like
it
we're
can't be
with
one of
you
those
kind of
things
thing.
that we just post, like the I guess the bushfires and stuff that were happening in Australia. People kind of posted about them for like a week or two, and then
But
no
those
one really
families are
cared.
still like fucking struggling right now.
Exactly, yeah. And I think Maddie from 1975 reposted his song the other day. Like, he got a bit of flack for it and he deactivated his Twitter account.
Okay.
But it was the "Love It If We Made It" song, and it has the lyric in there, which is kind of, it says "suffocate the black man," and I think he was retweeting it to say like, shit been happening, like this isn't just a one-off. Like, I know a lot of you are just new to this now and only just opening your eyes to it now, but it has been happening. But I guess he got, like, even Maddie copped a lot of flack for it. He does so many things, like he goes to protests and climate strikes and stuff, and even he was getting shit online. So that's what made me very weary of talking about it. So,
I mean, I think it's good to talk about it. Like, I feel like both of us want to learn, and we want to be able to do whatever we can to make equality a reality everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, when people say equality, you don't want to just like think you're doing the right thing. You want to actually see real equality. Like, you want to walk down the street and, I don't know, like, just
you can
do you
see
remember,
it in the
like,
streets, though, dude. You can see it. Like, you hear people, like, if you're lining up for some sort of, for example, I was in the hairdresser, and someone, my hairdresser, one of the ladies that does it there, this is the second time this has happened, looked around her shoulder, she's like, I've got to be careful what I say, because bloody, like, Asians and the coronavirus and stuff. And I'm like, and I was just sitting there going, what the fuck? Like, but she's got her scissors in her hand to my skull, so I'm like, I can't really speak up right now. I don't want to put a hole in my fucking head, but I'm just thinking, it's to such like a common folk level, like, just a random person is willing to just, I don't know, just say that racist shit to me, like, in public in front of everyone. I'm like, this is fucking fucked up and bizarre. Like, I could not believe I was hearing this.
Yeah, I would have probably been the same. Like, in my mind, I would have felt the exact same things. But I can't say that I would have said anything at that time. Yeah, being in your position,
exactly. That's the thing. We all want to say something, but then it's like, we need to take that next step to actually confront it and go, you know what, lady, get fucked. Yeah, you're a fucking mole.
Like, all the posts that I was reading, it was like, if you're feeling if you're not saying anything, you're basically like siding with the oppressor kind of thing.
Exactly,
and that was starting to make me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, I have to say anything. But then I was battling like, but like, who cares if I say anything? Like, who actually really cares? But that was the constant thing that was going through my mind until today. Like, I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna, like, the only thing we can do is try and be better.
Exactly.
As the privileged position we are. So, like, in those situations going forward, like, learning and educating yourself, and and like preparing yourself for like those kinds of small situations where someone's like, I don't know, the man that bloody curry muncher stinks or something like that, and you're just like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
you need to
don't
put
say
in
that
place.
shit. It's all that, and you know those there was a couple commercials that came out. It was like about domestic violence issues, and it was like a group of guys, and the guy gets a phone call from his girlfriend or something. Yeah. And he's like, he's just like, you're a fucking stupid bitch or something. And then it's like, what are you gonna say to your mates kind of thing? It's that same thing with like everyone that gets oppressed. Like, but especially now the spotlight is on the black community and everyone around us, and like even back home with the Indigenous community here, we need to. Exactly. We need to just be like, have solidarity with them. Like, if someone is getting belittled, we can't just let it slide. Like, you're not.
Like, I read something that the majority is the one that's going to change things. It's not the minority. The minority is always looking for change. Yeah,
they're the ones that bring it up.
The majority are the ones that should be making it happen.
They're the ones that are getting silently abused for years until something big like this happened. Not that the African Americans were getting silently abused; it was happening everywhere. But like, this got caught on camera. I think Will Smith was like, this racism's been happening. It's just getting caught on camera now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's like one of the only good things about Twitter is this kind of awareness can spread very, very quickly. But and it's we have to take that next step forward. Like, me and Leo were hoping to be able to go to one of the peaceful protests tomorrow. Got to look into the details of that. I mean, I've told people to donate and stuff. Like, I donated. Not to suck my dick or anything, but that's like literally all I feel like I can do at this point.
I mean, it's not us trying to like be the best white person for like in the eyes of other white people. It's just like knowing within yourself and showing the world that you're actually trying to be better.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Like if you're
some people need that like little push going, oh, even this guy who never speaks about
exactly
politics or
all those
like continue.
There's a bunch of artists that I follow. Like, do you know those artists that I follow on my fucking Instagram that just draw dick pics all the time?
No.
Anyway, there's also these artists.
It's on my private account.
There's just a bunch of these artists. They draw these funny as fuck like dick pics, and like it's just something that I scroll through and I see it and I piss myself laughing, and then I move on to the next thing. Even they posted about it.
Yeah.
Like just like this ridiculous joke page were just like fun and jokes aside, like shit is real. We need to fucking do something about the world, kind of thing.
This feels like in our lifetimes anyway, this feels like the biggest kind of kick that's happened where everyone might hopefully be realizing and going, shit, it's fucking time, instead of just like letting it just happen and just being blissfully ignorant and just, living your 9 to 5 and then going, oh, it's not affecting me, so I'll just kind of keep out of it. Just hope it settles itself.
Exactly.
Because that's like 80% of the population just doing that shit.
Oh, 100%. Did you see that there was like a video flying around the last few days on
which
a bunch
one,
of
man?
people's stories? Yeah, I know.
100.
It was this anti-racism lady, can't remember her name, and she was speaking in this lecture, and she asked the crowd a question. She's like,
why is no one standing?
No, yeah, she goes something along the lines of like, would you like to be treated how an African American is treated in the United States, or something along those lines? Don't quote me for it.
Exactly.
And then she's like, I don't think you guys heard me. Who here would like to be treated like an African American is treated? And then she's like,
no one was standing up.
No one's. She's like, why aren't you guys standing up? She's like, if basically you saying nothing is you admitting that that they get treated 100% different to the way we get treated,
and saying like, that they don't want to be treated equally because they like the way that they're being treated over how the oppressed are. So what she was saying was kind of a trick question. It was like they were looking at it at face level, but then they weren't really thinking, actually, no, I wanted us all to be treated equally, so I'll stand up. But like everyone was just like, nah, I'm living it pretty cush right now, so let's just keep it that way.
Like feeling super uncomfortable. Even that made me go, holy shit. Like I know, like people get treated differently, but like even in that second when I was like, fuck, they like the amount of difference that they get treated like came to my realization at that point.
Yeah.
That like the people that are exactly like us, like love things that we love, live their lives the way we live our lives, and for one little factor, their life can be completely light years different just because of that factor.
Yeah. I saw someone speaking on the news saying like being black is essentially being born a criminal. It's a crime to be born black because you're just automatically put in the eyes of the police and stuff like as a criminal, regardless of however you live your life.
Yeah, man.
It's something we can never actually fully grasp.
Ever. I don't think
we'll never know.
I don't think we will ever know. You're right. Like, there's no way, because like we're born into this life, like not to cry about it, but like we are born, like we're born in the lucky country, right? Australia is like prides itself on being the lucky country that we get. Yeah. Like we've got these amazing places, but in this lucky country, we are the luckiest.
Yeah.
Like the indigenous Australians.
Even us, our country was born on a fucking genocide of indigenous people, and we just wiped them so we, the white folk, could just live cushy away from everything. Like, it's so land. Fucking bizarre. Like, bizarre is not even the right word. It's just like mind blowing that not more of this is taught. It gets brushed over in school. Like, you learn, you kind of hear about it here and there, but like no one actually ever goes, hey, our country's fucked up and we just obliterated a whole race so we could just like come in here and just take their land and just chill.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, there's like certain instances, like especially last week, I think it was Reconciliation Week here. Just hearing it on RWGT and stuff, and but like having spoken to people about it, like I remember speaking to Aiden's mum about it when we were doing the record.
Yeah.
Like we had just, because she worked in a school that had a big Indigenous community, I think.
Yeah.
Or she had worked within Indigenous communities, and it was just interesting talking to her and like learning from her.
Yeah.
That was a really cool thing that I took away from that. Like I was just trying to think of a story that she told me, but I can't really remember because we just started talking, and now I'm trying to think as fast as I can.
That's so good. That's so
No,
good.
it's so good. But
if
like,
you think of it, just
yeah, but it's crazy to see, like, and I've definitely been like in the position where, for sure, in my mind, I've like seen homeless Aboriginal people and been worried, but we pretty much put them in that position.
Yeah.
It's all our fault, and like I'll take the blame for it. Like it's like 100%, like not 100%, but like it wasn't directly me, but like people.
We're just as bad for not doing
like
anything,
me.
for not like trying to do anything about it. We just see it and we just like let it go unnoticed because it's too hard a basket to lift a finger and help someone, you know?
Exactly. Like I want to. When I was like writing out whatever post I wrote, I just wanted it to be. I just wanted people to know that I'm not like that, because in my mind, I've always thought of myself as someone that would take the time for anybody.
Yeah.
And if I saw someone getting hurt or anything, I would stand up for them. That's who I always prided myself to be.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping in the future I can actually act on those words in
Exactly,
any way
yeah.
that I can stand with solidarity of anyone in the world. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hopefully this is like for you as well, like everybody, and like myself included, 100%, that we can look at this moment and go, how like we can actually make a difference individually, like very small things. Like if everyone just does those small things, it's like like one of those sayings: if everyone in the world donated 1 cent to like a cause, that's fucking,
it's fucking
7 billion cents.
Billions,
you know what I mean?
like, billions of dollars.
It's
crazy.
So
it's
easy.
So crazy. It's so crazy to think that just basically all we need to do as a white society of the world is exactly the same concept of the 1 cent donation thing. Is like if everybody just said that they stood in solidarity, not that just saying it, but like if everyone was like, the human rights in America is literally still fucked.
Yeah.
Like we need to change this, and that movement of people will definitely get to the top, and the top won't be able to do anything except make it real.
Yeah.
Make it a reality.
How fucked up is it that like the police and stuff have been arresting like hundreds of people before they even arrested those, or like put charges on those police officers? It
breaks your heart, man.
The fact that guy worked with George Floyd for 17 years. Fucking
it breaks. How many other incidents like this do you reckon the person in uniform had known the person previously?
Oh yeah.
In the non-work related way, in like a friend or an acquaintance kind of way. It's crazy. Like, and I saw a video today. Not funny, but I'm just like.
Sorry, guys. This isn't us. Like, we want to talk about it in a educating discussion kind of way. Like, if anyone like has any points, please let us know in the comments and message us directly. Like, we want to educate ourselves. We're not saying we're any better than anyone else. We are still trying to learn, like most of the population. So this is just us talking to each other, and not really claiming to know anything, but we're just, we're trying to get it out there.
I just feel like it's us having the conversation that's important. Like I want to talk to people who it's directly affected or have been directly affected by any kind of oppression or anything like that, just because they're a person of color or anything. But yeah, I feel like this is just us. We kind of need to talk about it together, not to bring ourselves up or anything, just for us to spitball what we've kind of gauged over the past 6 days or whatever.
Ideas that we can potentially, implement into our day-to-day that will actually do something, like we were talking before about, like standing up in those instances. Like I saw someone of color kneeling in one of those protests, and like all of the white privileged people like just stood in front of him, like to protect him from the line of the SWAT team that were, gonna fuck shit up.
It's amazing seeing those pictures and videos where the black protesters are standing around one police officer because they wanted him to not get hurt by the violent protesters.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's many split sides. There's the oppressed people of color that are trying to peacefully protest because they know if they that's probably a wrong word. If they protest in the way that the other people of color are, like, who are just as enraged as the rest, like, they're obviously taking out their frustration and doing things it's mostly provoked by the police, as I'm learning from Twitter. Like, the media is definitely making it out to be like they're instigating it, but the police are interrupting all of the peaceful protests. And then there's the white fucking douchey skater kids that are out there just like wanting to fucking throw shit and just
I think it's other
feel
people
superior.
ruining the whole peacefulness of it. There was a guy live streaming, and I saw a video of him. He was live streaming and he tried to get these people to flip a truck over, and all of the protesters were just like, are you fucking serious? Like, we're here,
this is just gonna
we're here because of violence and we want to stop it, and you want us to destroy more things.
Yeah. So it's like, do you see so much stuff on Twitter, man? Like, everything that's being like uncovered. There's so much more I want to talk about. Like, I don't know if you've touched on that Trump Epstein shit. Have you seen that?
Wait, I was literally just watching the Jeffrey Epstein documentary thing on Netflix just before I came on.
The anonymous group that are on Twitter, the ones with the mask, the hackers.
Yeah.
So they hacked the Minnesota Police Department's website.
Okay.
And it was down. And then somehow they've gathered documents from the lawsuits from Trump and Epstein and all of the underage girls that, like, Trump was essentially getting through Epstein. And so it is fucked up.
Names or like just a number?
Yeah, names and settlement money, like 16 mil for one 13-year-old girl, something like that. And like,
oh my goodness,
people have been saying that Trump got Epstein killed so he could keep his mouth shut and all this shit. Like, it's fucked. We truly live in the most corrupt system that I don't. It's just you never be able to understand.
Yeah, I had this analogy come to my. Not analogy, just like an image popped up in my brain, right? You know how people were saying at the start, like, bad apples. There's like some bad apples in the police department. Like, not everyone is a bad person. Not all police are shit. There's always some bad apples. And then that Chris Rock video came up. Is like, there's some professions where you're not allowed to have bad apples. Is like, it's not like United Airlines or whatever companies.
Like a pilot.
Some of our pilots like to land a plane. I was just like, Jesus Christ. But then I had this an analogy of like a pyramid of apples, right? Like 10 apples in a pyramid or whatever. And then you say like there's one rotten one right at the bottom. The whole thing, like once it rots, the whole thing collapses. But like if you have a rotten one at the top, that rotten one will just keep rotting and then rotting the rest of it as it goes down. And I was just like, fuck, man. Like somehow.
Exactly.
Like, especially, like, a lot of the world's governments right now probably aren't the best people on the whole to control the countries that they're in. Like, not saying that they're all bad, but, like, probably not the best. But being led by someone who can't put a real sentence together. Like, everyone looks to America, right? And the guy can't put a grade 2 level sentence together.
Yeah, and he's got a whole team of people helping him.
And this many people are outraged right now in America, like, and they're about to vote. Like, the biggest thing they can do, biggest thing white America can do right now is vote for people other than themselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's the only thing we can do. We can always vote for the interests of everyone around us and act like the way we would love to be we would love people to act towards us. So when you vote and when you do things in your life, you want to make sure it's not just like, you always look out for yourself, but you don't want to bring anyone down with your interests. You know what I mean? Putting your interests first. So that's like the
And like
biggest thing.
he's one of the main supporters of this whole like he obviously pays hush money to fucking X, Y, and Z to keep himself up there. Like people are getting paid off at every level of any profession. Like and that's to a level that we'll never understand, like how corrupt everything actually is. And
oh man, could you imagine if like you got a what do you call it, a biography book of like Donald Trump's life, like an actual story, day by day diary analysis. You'd just be like from the first instant of like, when was the first time he did something so fucked up, and he's still like probably has the ability to still do it. You know what I mean?
Our president, quote, "I grabbed her by the pussy." How is that a quote from someone who rules a whole country?
Yeah.
It's so backward, and you can see why all these people, just gather and just he's so easily was voted in power, because he can just say fucking key pig words that all the fucking dumb cunts eat up.
I still feel like he kind of paid his way into, because the way the US political system works, I don't know exactly how it works, but I feel like I've watched enough political dramas and movies and shit to think that basically what's in the movie is kind of loosely based on real life. So there's definitely a way which he could have paid off people that have power in other places who are strong in pushing people's votes a certain way and speaking to a population that I don't want to say didn't have a voice, but like gave the people who hate a platform. And he's like, that guy wants to hate everyone too. Let's all vote for him. And then they realize, holy shit, more than half America hates the other half of America. You're like, holy fuck.
And what I was going to touch on before, I actually just remembered what I was going to say was, like you're saying before, this stuff is happening in every country, like even, ours, for like the Indigenous Australians and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, and people have been who have been supporting the American issue, Aussies have been going, what are you guys doing? Fucking this is happening in our country as well, like all this. But not that, I feel like since every country kind of copies America, there needs to be some sort of
flow down effect.
Example made of America. It needs to happen there for literally every
I agree.
country in the world to go, because every country follows them for fucking everything. It needs to happen there to go, actually, it's actually happening there. Like, we should follow suit,
100%. I feel like a lot of other countries are much better than America. Like, I feel like Australia is better on a international, what people can see about us level. I don't know that the nitty gritty facts.
Once again, guys, we're not disregarding anyone here. Please educate us if we're spitting shit.
Exactly. I don't know, but on the outset, from what I can see in my one white person life who looks at the world through the internet kind of thing, the biggest reform in Western world needs to happen in the US for sure.
Yeah. 100%. And just, it's just, you could just keep going on about this fucking nonsense forever, because there's so many layers of bullshit to the onion that is racism. And people were saying it's not even just about racism. It's about police brutality fueled by racism as well.
That's one thing I was talking to someone about. Being a police officer should be one of the hardest jobs to get.
Yep.
Because you have to uphold the law, and you have to be non-biased.
Yeah.
You have to see it. You literally have to see it as in be as peaceful as possible until I guess the person starts acting crazy or whatever. Yeah. And literally, I'm sure that's what the police rule book is. When you're a police officer, is don't react until people start going nuts. People attack you.
The book would be definitely looped to give them loopholes to defend, quote, defend themselves and protect themselves. But it'll be so loose, I reckon, that that's how everyone gets away with all this fucking brutality shit.
Exactly, but being a police officer, you can't have an aggression towards anyone.
Yeah.
You have to be mentally, not saying that they're like mentally disabled, but like you have to be at peace with who you are and what's happened in your life. Because if
Yeah.
you grew up being abused or being bullied at school or whatever, and you're like, I'm gonna
Like a
become a
lot
police
of
officer
police
and
officers
I'm gonna fuck up all these bullies kind of thing, and then
yeah,
you get in
it's
there and then you
literally
just,
what they do.
man, like it's hard
A
to.
lot of like police shows that I watch on TV and stuff whenever they pop up. The producer always asks them why do they become a police officer, and there's always a reason. Like there's always a moment in their life, and you can't help but think like, yeah, like the initial urge to become a police officer is to protect and serve and stuff, but then you also get that like thing in your mind where they're like, are they just like out to get some revenge for like the shit that's happened to them? Now they finally have some power and authority. They can just like dish it out however they want for all the times they got picked on in school.
Could you imagine? Like I don't really like the police because I've been fined a lot and all this shit. But like, could you imagine the level of anxiety, fear? Like you can't imagine it having your skin be a different color.
Yeah, no.
Could
That's
you
like
imagine?
what we were saying before. It's
Could you imagine?
just gonna be so incomprehensible.
Could you imagine growing up? I saw this video. You've probably seen it as well. Of that dad and his daughter, and he's like, "This is a line that we practice at our house."
No.
Have you seen this? And the little girl, she's
No.
like 8 years old, and she's like, the dad's like, "What's the line that we practice?" And she puts her hands up. Man, broke my heart. She puts her hand up and she says her name, and she's like, "I'm 8 years old. I'm unarmed, and I have nothing on my body that will hurt you." And
It's fucked up that you
her
even have
dad, an African American father with his daughter. That's something that you have to teach your kids, because
Yeah.
like that's a thing that they've evolved in their community to protect their community, but that should not exist, and it does.
Exactly. It's something that you and I will
and it-
never have to like do, or like have never even crossed our mind to go, that's something that we'll have to use one day, because we just
that should
don't
not
have
exist.
to.
And as if the hierarchy in America can't see that is not acceptable. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
because the people
because they turn a
power are
blind
the
eye
ones
or
that are
whatever.
racist.
They're just like, "Oh no, let's just look at I don't know, let's just look at New York City. There's no racism there or whatever." There probably is still racism there, like towards other communities. But man, like one thing I've learned about America is whenever we've been there, is not anyone is the same. Not any one part of that country is the same. So they're like, people from Portland are completely different to people from Texas. People from fucking Chicago are completely different to people from Florida. Like, the whole country is so weird and beautiful, but so fucked sometimes. And to you could literally just live in your bubble there and be like, everything's fine. But
totally,
it's not. It's not. It's crazy.
And
like to, I don't know.
What we were talking about before with like the police force and like the mental stuff, what brings me back to like police brutality and stuff. There is a physical exam when you're trying out for the police force, and a mental exam. Like, if you pass the mental exam, you've got to assume that you are like morally just, you know, that you're a sane human being with no, like you said, no bias, no deep anger towards any, you know, person, race, or you know, thing. And then so you think that stuff would be, you know, done correctly. So if people are passing the mental exam and this is happening, you've got to think that it's like being if not encouraged in the police force, you've got to think that it's like they just don't give a shit about race. Because if that doesn't pass the mental part of the exam, like, hey, let's not discriminate based on race or gender or whatever like that, then what the fuck's happening? You know what I mean?
I wonder if there's definitely like a profiling system it's like I couldn't do it. One of my friends I went to high school with, good friend of mine, he's a police officer here, and before he decided to become a police officer, I don't even know when he decided to become one, but he was working in like psychology and working in like rehoming kids coming out of juvie. So like they didn't have anywhere to go, so they would have like community housing that they'll put him in, and he would like live in the house and like kind of be their like kind of guardian, but like just like help them get back into society kind of thing. And like I couldn't think of a better person to be in the job just because I've grown up with him, but I know for a fact that not like more than 50%, probably not. I mean, maybe less than 50%. I don't know the factor, but like you never know what people's thought processes are. And like just going back to like the mental capacity, like I wonder if there's like a I said, profiling thing like in the test, like who is the criminal kind of thing, and if like if that's a way to like rat out people, like to stop them from going that next step kind of thing. But like
that's what I mean though. Like I feel like
you got so much power being a police officer.
Yeah, and they've there's like often power hungry people that shoot for those roles. You know what I mean? The ones that want that. Like there's this one guy at work who's just like, who claims to be like, you know, fucking morally just or whatever and super whatever la-di-da. But if that cunt had a gun, I'd be scared. Like you should be like in a 1% to be able to be a police officer and carry a firearm, for fuck's sake.
I reckon
it's a system built to protect those who are fucking like racist and the ones that fuel this shit.
Yeah, I don't know what the Australian. I don't know what like I don't know how bad the Australian police force is like in regards to that. Like it probably like I've read like one thing of stats towards Indigenous Australians and how bad it is, but like Australia's a tiny on a similar scale to like put next to America. America's like 20 times the size of us, like in population wise. So like the scales might be relative if you dump half America's numbers or whatever. Yeah. I just keep losing track of what
even just mass shootings though, like not even like a race thing. Mass shootings, like that doesn't scale down to Australia. Just like Americans are just fucking dumb cunts.
It's pretty crazy. Like I've seen a lot of things like not only like the Black Lives Matter thing, but like pretty much like people are calling for a whole overthrow of not the government, but just like the system in America. Like pretty much just let's rewrite. Yeah. Basically, they have to stop now, remember their past, and rewrite their future. Like that's what we need to do. We need to rewrite as a white society. We kind of need to rewrite our future because both of our countries born out of genocide. Yeah. Like Christopher Columbus went over there, killed all the natives, took over the land, pretty much.
Yep. None of us talk about it though. No one talks about it.
Banished them to one point of the country, and they kind of can't leave. And similar to Australia, like pushed everyone out. We tried to breed them. Literally tried to breed them out. Indigenous Australians. They'll try. That was like a government enforced thing. And like the government, government was like, we need to breed them. The fucking government. How is that coming from the top of the country?
I know, and that's why this stuff keeps happening. Even when Donald got voted in, everyone's just like, "You've got to be kidding me! Like, this can't be real." Like, everyone buys. Like, it just proves that people fucking buy their way in. There's no actual care for what the world needs. It's just like, there you go. This cunt's got a bit of money, and he can appeal to the masses of racists and bigots and all that shit. And guys, I know we're going in circles, but we're kind of heated, and we don't really.
We're just trying to get our head around the situation and talk through our. Pretty much, this is what's coming straight off my brain is coming out of my mouth. Yeah. Right now, apparently,
not everything we say is going to be correct. Don't take statistics.
Yeah. The statistics are definitely not correct, but we're just two white guys trying to better ourselves by speaking to ourselves now. I want to talk to some more some people who it directly affects. But there was one thing I was about to say, like when Trump got voted in, like all these people were like, "Oh, he's not going to get voted in. Like, there's no way. I'm not going to vote."
It was a joke.
There's no way. And then, like, people didn't vote, but now is the time. Like, if you don't think, like, I said a thing at the end because like I didn't think what I had to say on my Insta post or like even putting an Insta post would matter. But like, you're never going to know if you matter or not unless you say something, unless you vote, unless you stand by the person who's getting oppressed. You're never going to know if that helps or not. And why would you risk not being able to help when you could have easily just put a tweet up, put a picture up, called one of your friends, seen someone in the street and been like, no, just move on kind of thing. You know what I mean?
It's just bizarre that voting is not compulsory in America. It is bizarre.
That's kind of how people win. That get out of nowhere. You're just like, I don't have to vote. I'm not going to grab a fine.
And the thing with like Trump, it's like nobody voted because they're like, this is some sort of fucking joke. Like, there's no way he's going to get in. But then the people who are actually like, you know, live their life in rage and anger towards other people, like, fuck you, let's fucking vote. And then the people who are just like, I guess, more on the, you know, logical side, were thinking, well, this can't even be considered to be correct. This guy cannot run a country. It's not even going to be close. And then boom, he's had 4 years of fucking to just run around being a fuckwit.
I was listening to some podcasts before the whole Corona thing hit, and people were saying on that podcast that pretty much he's kind of a shoo-in for another term. Like the way people think in America. Yeah. Like there's definitely people that I know and we know. I'm not putting everyone in a pigeonhole. Like when I say America, when we say America, it's not like the friends that we know and like every fucking idiot in America
that are just fucking closed-minded, racist.
Because because the people that speak the right thing and the people that want progression for America are the minority, which is crazy, and it's the minority everywhere. Like it wants the progression of their country and it's insane that that's the way it is. Like people get bogged down in being happy with where they are and complacent with who they are because they've probably never, like us, ever faced anything that makes you want to change. Yeah. The way
exactly,
your life is.
Because like from our perspective is like if it, say for example that this racial thing doesn't directly affect us, which for a lot of people it doesn't effectively direct us because it doesn't alter our day to day. Like I'm just putting it out there. Like we'll still go to work and we won't get stopped for being a different color. But like, and that's when people get in that like, and just in that mindset, and they go, "Oh well, I'm doing fine. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Just gonna, you know, it's working well for me." Type thing.
Did you read up on why George Floyd was detained initially?
Because he had a fake check or something like that.
Fake. Not even that he had one. He was at a store, and the clerk was like, "This is a fake $20 note."
Yeah.
So they called the cops, which I'm assuming is what you would do. Like even in Australia, if you got caught with a fake note, a counterfeit note, you get the cops called on you. And then there's a video of him
just like at a convenience store.
Yeah, I think he was just at a convenience store or something like that.
But imagine if that happened at a 7-Eleven. If you went in to get like some food with a fake 20, he'd be like, "This is a fake 20," and he'd just tell you to fuck off.
No, I think they actually do call the cops here though, because when I was at Coles, we got when I used to work at a supermarket. Like I'm pretty sure like counterfeiting money is pretty high, but the thing, like I don't know if it's true or not. Like I haven't read into that part of this whole situation because it's been drowned out by the fact that he got
murdered,
suffocated to death, by a police officer. But I watched a video of him, like there's footage of him being detained and walking away from the store. He's just like chilling, like he's just calm as fuck. Like you don't know what he's saying. I don't think you can hear what he's saying, but like, but even if he's
nothing should even warrant like he's unarmed. Even if you got 4 or 5 cops there with guns, man.
Exactly.
Even if force,
even if it was fake, like you don't even get there's no death penalty for for having fake money.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
and
like
there's no, it doesn't need any more than one or two police to deal with that issue. You know what I mean? Like, and I just saw footage just before we did this podcast of like him getting like beaten up in the police car, and then like he got out the other side, like he was able to get out, and then some other cop just fucking like pinned him to the ground. It's like, why is there force, like deadly force, applied for something so minute? You know what I mean? Like, how many situations can you actually think of where that amount of force would even be required?
the only time I've ever seen something like that is when I saw the police in Australia try to detain like an ice addict, and they were just like,
Yeah.
"Holy fuck, we can't fucking hold this cunt down."
Was that the one who like detained him with a milk crate?
That was
in
that was the
Burke
guy
Street stabbing?
that yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is just like a vision that I can see in my brain. Like, I can't
Yeah.
remember when it was, but like the only time I've ever seen like not brutal force, but like excessive force used.
Yeah.
Like, I
Even like I remember the one run-in I've had with the police. Like, this is at all like not even. This doesn't even scale, you know. But like I remember when one of my first nights out when I was 18, and the guy, like cop, like I was trying to help him call the ambulance to some chick that I found like bleeding on the ground, and I was telling him, "Do you want me to call the ambulance?" And he ended up like clotheslining me and pinning me to the ground, getting me in a chokehold, saying he's resisting. And there were 3 cops there, and I was like standing, not doing anything. I had my hands out in the air, going, laughing, like, "What the fuck is happening?" And they kind of like pinned me and cuffed me, and I'm like, "This is not happening right now."
how
Like,
how
and then
often
when
do you reckon
when
it
you have
happens
that
when
time like fueled by a racial event as well? Can you imagine how much worse that would be?
like just pure hatred in your heart? Like,
Yeah,
imagine you can't. I don't even want to say it, but like, just like his final moment in life would have
Yeah.
been so scary.
yeah. And you know, I was reading this thing that just made me fucking angry. They were saying, "Oh, we just got the evidence now. Like, all that we needed to prosecute the police officers." Sorry, my camera just went out. To prosecute them, blah blah. And they were trying to say that he died because of his heart
The natural
condition or
causes,
something like that.
yeah.
It's like, you've got to be
like,
fucking kidding me, man.
I think I saw a retweet of that, and someone was just like, they're really out here trying to blame him for his own murder.
Yeah. Man, just like, and I understand why people are fucking angry. I understand why people are just like going, nothing's changing. What do you want? Like, what do we need to do to fucking, oh man. And like,
And
I think Martin
that's why
Luther
fucking
King's
half
like,
America's fucking rioting right now, because they're just like, we need to fucking
Yeah.
change this place. Or
yeah.
more people are just going to die. More people are just going to die for
from
no
Martin
reason.
Luther King's son, and he was like, rioting is the action or something of the unheard, or something like that. And it was
It's how they get heard in this kind of society.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, obviously the civil way doesn't get heard. Oh man, it's just getting heated.
Yeah, it's. I think that, like you said, I'm glad that we talked about it on here, because like I said earlier, like the fact that it was we felt weird about talking about it
Yeah,
is a good thing, because that means we know
exactly.
we should talk about it, and that we know that it's a fucked up thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, because we're also discussing, like, we get that people come to this podcast to like escape from reality sometimes and just relax, but it's also like, we can't. This isn't something that anyone should be able to get away from. This is like an issue that everybody should be talking about or thinking about. Like, even like nowhere should be off limits for this kind of topic.
Yeah.
For like
Sure.
something
Like,
to
the only way that you get through a situation and come out on the other side is talking about it. The only way anything that you love lasts is if if you're in a relationship and everyone on this world is in a relationship with each other as human beings, we're literally all there for each other, even if we don't know each other.
Yeah.
The only way we can come out the other side and love each other and and understand each other is to fucking keep talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause
We can't let it go
There's no way
away.
that every 7 billion of us could live harmoniously without it, interacting. Oh man, I'm just like getting the feeling that I was getting just last episode of just being fucking just heated.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I mean, I do want to talk about. I didn't want this to just be like an angry podcast of us getting heated.
I don't think we sound heated. I think we're just like, obviously we're annoyed, and we want our whole society to grow and be better.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that we're perfect and we're trying to bring people up. Like, we're definitely not the perfect people to be talking about this. Or
far from it, mate. We have no real connection to any of this.
Yeah, the fact that that even people that are listening to this right now are going, fuck, they're actually talking about it, which is crazy, or fuck, they're talking about it, fuck these guys, like whatever. Like, if they're saying fuck these guys, then fuck them, whatever.
And fuck you.
But we should, yeah, exactly. We should be able to talk about this. We should want to talk about this. We shouldn't want to go to work and the cops bust in and they arrest your black friend and not you for no fucking reason. Like, just because of that reason. You know what I mean? Like, or you and your friend are walking down the street. Oh, I had this story come into my head today. I was back in the days when I was a professional sports player. I had like a training camp in Queensland. Yeah. And there was this I want to say he was Sikh.
Hang on, let's bring in the camera because my camera died.
You're good.
Classic.
I want to say he was a Sikh, which is like the Indian guys with the turbans and the ball in the front. They grow their hair for like their whole life.
Right.
We were literally walking in like a plaza, like a shopping center, a mall, and I was laughing. Me and him were joking about something. We're just walking into Big W or something like that. We were like, I don't know, we're just doing whatever. There was like 3 of us, me, 2 white guys, and this Sikh guy called, what's his name? I haven't seen him since that day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anyway, it matters, but it doesn't matter right now. And he overheard someone walk past and say something. And I was just like, what the because like his mood instantly changed. And I was like, what happened? And he's just like, don't worry about it. Like, happens all the time. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, told me that the guy said something. And I'm like, where the fuck is he? Not that I was like going to stick up for him. He's just like, no, don't, it's fine. And like, not that I would have even done anything. Yeah. Like, but it annoyed me at that point. I'm like, this guy.
Was it like a racial slur or something?
Yeah, I'm assuming it must have been something like turban head or something like that. Like something like just because of the way he was looking. Yeah. And I was just like, fuck. That's probably the first instance where I noticed. Like, I knew that shit happened, but that was probably the first instance. I was like 20. So that's how lucky I was. Yeah. Or maybe it's like 22. Like, being white, the first time I noticed any kind of like oppression or anything, I was 22. Like, to me, like, it's directly affecting not directly affecting me, but like, it's fucking weird. Fuck. Like, that shouldn't, like, we should be living in a society where our kids and the future generation, it's like a bad dream to them. Like, it's just like a faraway dream that this shit
I saw this video
happened.
today of these 2 kids running like 20 meters. They were like toddlers running to each other to give each other a hug. And it was a colored kid and a Caucasian kid. And the caption was, racism is taught. And it's so, so true. You cannot be born racist. How the fuck? It just isn't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they're loving each other and you're saying...
Yeah, they're like giving each other a hug. It's like, racism is taught 100%. Literally, it's 100%. Like our own faults.
Yeah.
And, man.
That's why, like, today I was thinking, I'm like, man, if we really love each other, like, my parents brought me up to love everyone the way you want to be loved. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if we really love each other, then we would... The way my parents loved me is like they were fair. And when things were tough with me, like they'd stand up for me. And when I was wrong, they would tell me I was wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, we have to tell and show people that they're wrong. And right now, the only way you can show people that things are fucked and wrong is by people protesting and like hitting the streets. And like, if you are able to go to a protest, I'm hoping to go to one too. Like, if I need to look up if there is any in Melbourne or when they are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that today. But like, if you can go to a protest, hit a protest.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, everyone has social media. Just post that you're in solidarity with anyone.
Just keep retweeting and stuff, you know, because
just-
the
yeah,
longer
just
it stays
retweet.
in, like, because I've even noticed, like, my whole Twitter feed the last 2, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 days, has been solely this. And that's good. It needs to keep being front and center, because all these things are front and center for a week, and then it slowly fizzles out to selfies and, you know, self-promo and, you know, look where I was for dinner and all this, like, shit. It just needs to be front and center until something is changed.
Exactly. Even if it's like, you I don't know, you probably have social media if you found this fucking shitty podcast, but even if it's just like you not that you don't want to post anything, but even if you hear like the easiest person to hold up is like the person you're closest with. If they're being a dick, you can easily just be like, cunt, fucking shape up. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Like, you need to fucking pull your socks up and fucking be a good citizen. You know what I mean?
Socks up.
Yeah, fuck. You can't just have loose socks, can you?
Mate,
You'd be uncomfortable.
tie your shoes up. Come on. Tuck your shirt in. Let's go.
Fucking take your shoe off. Take the little racism rock out of your shoe. Fucking stop
These are some great
being a dick.
analogies.
Making the world uncomfortable for everybody. And if you want to show real love, then fucking stand up for people because you want them to stand up for you if you're going through the shit, you know?
Exactly, yeah. 100% well said. No, I'm not being sarcastic.
Some bloody wise words from the old man, I reckon.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't believe it's taken me fucking this long
3 decades to get
become
there, but it's
a
fine.
decent dude.
To become a decent dude. I was thinking actually, like, not on the topic of being a decent dude or like, trying to suck my own dick or anything.
Well,
like
on another topic of being a shit cunt.
No, I was gonna say, like, we have this Patreon money that has been accumulating in the whatever. I haven't looked at it. Don't know how long
In
we've
the
had it for.
Patreon stratosphere.
Yep. So if you donate, thank you for that. I was just going to let everyone know we haven't taken any of it out. So I was thinking we could donate it to one of the many causes that have been, you know, tackling to fight this issue. I think the one that I can't remember the one that I ended up doing. Leah donated to Black Lives Matter. One of the, hang on, I've got the screenshot here. Sorry, this is going to sound really fucking shit of me. Hang on, I'm trying to find it.
You're good.
La, 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 la.
The first thing hello?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Black Visions Collective was the one that I donated to.
Oh, yeah, cool. One of the first things I watched this morning was Danny from Neck Deep's video.
What was it? I
And,
haven't
like,
seen it.
He just posted because through rain.
Yeah.
He's like doing he's put a shirt up that all the proceeds go to a shirt and a hoodie, and all the proceeds go to, I think it's either Black Lives Matter or the Minneapolis one.
Yeah.
And I watched his video. It goes for like 10 minutes. It's mostly of him talking, and then a bunch of his friends sticking by him and like saying that they are like in solidarity with everyone and the Black Lives Matter movement. And then I ended up buying one of his shirts.
Nice.
And I never pay $60 for a t-shirt, but I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Man, I
Even
want to.
if you don't
like,
wear the t-shirt, man. I mean, you're gonna wear it because it's got a good message on it that we all need to hear. But I mean, like, even just the $60, you know.
Yeah, like, it's nothing in comparison to anything. Like,
yeah.
I've definitely not been the richest person ever.
Yeah.
But like, anything helps. Even if you can't donate any money, you know what I mean? Like,
sign the petitions, do what you can.
Yeah. Like, even just talking about it with your friends, in that circle of your friends, and being like, I know none of us do this shit, but we can't do it. Like, we can't have people around us do it. You know what I mean? Like, just having a conversation and making sure that if you know anyone who's ever been in this situation, just to tell them that, or just talk with them, and if you want, and like, educate yourself more on how you can be there for them.
Yeah, 100%.
If we don't try to change, we'll never know what a changed world will look like.
Yeah, 100%. So,
Yeah.
I think we'll pull the Patreon money out, and we'll donate it. It should be like a couple $100, which is cool. If any of you guys, hear this podcast and want to donate to
Jump
the
on
Patreon,
and-
we will be putting all proceeds to maybe we can put a poll up of which organization you would like us to donate it to in regarding to the Black Lives Matter. I was also going to just tell everyone that I haven't even put out my Cameo money yet. I'll put all of that to said cause as well, whether it be the same one or a different one. Basti will be doing cameos too. I'll get that motherfucker on Cameo.
Right.
And we can chuck all of the proceeds to do our part. And obviously that's not all we're going to do. We're still going to try and, better everyone and educate ourselves and educate others past this point. But here is a good start, I think, for us.
Yeah. Keen. I reckon maybe we do it like a... Actually, we'll just talk about this after. Fuck it.
Yeah,
cool.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for listening, guys. I know this hasn't been a normal Red Wine.
So this isn't the regular shit talking, funny, la-di-da.
But we couldn't, as the people that we are, we couldn't not speak about it with each other. So you guys heard the conversation.
There you go. We haven't actually talked about this at all until now. So there you guys have it. Thank you very much for tuning in again. Make sure to retweet all of the stuff that you see that you think will be useful for other people to see in regarding to Black Lives Matter. Stay educated. Keep getting educated. Educate others. Do what you would want to be done to you.
Exactly. Love.
All
right. Talk to you guys soon.
Peace.
Love you guys.